I got called a reverse sexy librarian at work today. Today at work I took off my glasses to clean them and one of my coworkers told me to wait before I put them back in so they could look at my face. I guess because I always wear glasses so they never see my face without them? They then told me that I looked different and that I was like a reverse sexy librarian because usually the librarian becomes hotter when they take off their glasses. I wanted to cry. I did cry when I got home. I've always thought I looked uglier without glasses. I've worn them my whole life so I think my face looks weird without them. My face looks completely different. I have a round face and my eyes look smaller without them. It just hurts that other people see the same thing I do and it's not in my head. Why would they feel the need to say this? What did they expect me to say? I don't know if I'm overreacting but I'm just really upset and have no confidence in myself. I got out. He assaulted me in front of our child and while our 3-year-old was screaming at him to stop hurting me, he took him into the bedroom and told him that I was being bad and not safe. I finally called the cops. I called my mom. I called my dad. I told my grandparents what was going on. The investigating officer completely downplayed the incident and told me that most people regret calling after they calmed down and that we would both get a harassment charge because he was saying I hit him. I persisted. I went and filed a PFA and he is out of my home. Our child no longer has to witness us arguing or fighting. I'm still speaking to him, trying to help him find a job and somewhere to go, but it's on my terms and he will never live in my home again. I will never put my child in that position again. Every day I feel stronger. But every day I have to think of how I felt getting kicked on the stone floor and my child screams to remember why I need to keep being strong. It is so hard to leave, but it will get better. My mother did things to my boyfriend. My mother immigrated from her country at the age of 19. She was looking for a new life with my biological father. Well, it didn't take long for my father to use my mother's family isolation to physically and mentally abuse her. I was born 2 years after she arrived in Chile. My mother and I ran away from my father when I was almost 3 years old and after that, we had no contact with him. As I reached adolescence, our financial situation improved. My mother always went out with me to do girly things. At the time I thought it was fun, but in reality it was strange. My mother presented herself as an older friend and tried to blend in with my high school friends. I thought that she gave up her youth and that now she wanted to enjoy these moments with me. When I went to college, my mother asked about parties, which started to bother me. I created a line of separation with her. It was strange how my mother wanted to be my friend at parties, but I always overlooked it, thinking that maybe it was just her wanting to live the youth she didn't have. At the beginning of this year, I started a relationship with S. He is from my old city. I know his parents and he knows my mother. We grew up basically in the same neighborhood and college brought us closer. They heard 3 days without classes, to resolve internal college matters, as my city is not that far away. S and I agreed to go home together, spend time with our families. S has 3 brothers, 2 still live at his parents' house and recently his grandmother also moved in with them, so S's family house was really full. He asked if we could stay at my mother's house, and she agreed. The first day was normal. S stayed with her parents and only came home at night. On the second day I went to a friend's house. I missed her so I was excited to see her. I invited S but he didn't accept, so I went alone. You know when you have a great day and without any warning something horrible happens? Well, I returned home earlier than expected. When I arrived, the place was empty. I looked for S and my mother but I didn't find them. Then I called them both. S and my mother came home. They were laughing and happy. They told me that they had stopped by and even bought food for me. It wasn't a story I would suspect. At night, S was in the shower and well, it was wrong but I ended up seeing his cell phone screen turn on with a message. S doesn't put a password on his cell phone, so I ended up looking quickly and saw my mother's name. We were in the same house so I was curious what that message was about. It was disgusting. She was saying sexual things and praising how good he was, asking if he could sneak out at night and some other shit that you really don't want to read. I burst into tears right there. I was angry and very hurt. I ended up going after my mother, shouting at her and cursing her. S appeared scared and I confronted them both. S confessed crying and my mother tried to deny it. Well, I left home and I went to stay with my friend until I went back to college. S continued after me, saying that he was manipulated. My mother says that I shouldn't be mad at her, since she just showed me that my boyfriend is a cheater. Simply the worst story I've ever seen. I feel like it's a little bit of my fault. I missed so many red flags from her. I guess I just thought she's my mom so it's okay. I'm back in college. S is after me and my mom keeps making the calls. What should I do here? Cut ties with her completely? Can I do something to make S leave me alone? Has anyone here been through something similar and can tell me what to do so I don't feel like shit in the middle of it? My fiancé exposed my childhood trauma. I was sexually assaulted by my grandfather for years until I turned 13. I had confided in my fiancé Josh about my past and he has always been extremely supportive. Last week my grandfather died due to medical conditions and 2 days ago, my aunt called me and said that her daughter Mary, my cousin, told her that Josh had gotten in touch with her and told her about my past and ways to help me. I know Josh didn't say it with bad intentions and was trying to be helpful as he sees how horrible my mental state has been the past week due to his passing. However, my whole family is against me now. Even the ones that knew of the trauma my grandfather inflicted upon me. Josh tried to fix things but only made it worse. I confided in him and he broke my trust. Yesterday while he was at work, with the help of my two friends, I moved everything out from our house and blocked him. I've deleted all my social media accounts and I am thinking of changing my number too. I found out it wasn't my boyfriend who was having the deed with me, it was his twin. My boyfriend Jay has a twin brother K. They are almost 99% identical apart from one feature, which is their nose. My BF has a big nose while K's nose is smaller and doesn't have much of a bridge. Apart from that they are identical, they even talk the same, have the same voice, same everything, but I only love Jay. 4 days ago I was laying in bed and the lights were very dim and I didn't have my glasses on, so when Jay walked in from work talking to me normally I didn't think anything of it and started chatting with him, and one thing after the other he was suddenly kissing me. I kissed him back and he was taking off my pants and started eating me out, to be blunt. I was enjoying myself, but after a few minutes I realized something. When my BF would do this I would always feel his nose pressed against me and he would use it to his advantage and intentionally move it alongside his tongue, but I wasn't feeling his nose. I looked out and when I focused on Jay I realized his nose was small and that it wasn't my fucking boyfriend between my thighs. I panicked and didn't know what to do and just froze up. Kay noticed and asked if I was alright. I said yes, but I needed a break and ran to the bathroom. I didn't confront him, I don't know why, but I just felt scared and confused, so I locked myself in the bathroom until he eventually left. After I made sure he was gone I went to my parents' place and I have been here ever since. I haven't answered any of my BF's calls or texts and I didn't tell anyone because I just don't want anyone to know. I feel used and just dumb, and I am now realizing that there are numerous times where it could have been K, in states where I was tipsy or tired or the lights weren't on.